Hi guys, today I'm going to be reacting to actually happened. So I'm going to be reacting to this. Where is this video? Oh my god, this film. Oh wait. Okay, there we go. Where is it? Here it is.
Did I tell you about the scariest night of my
Wait.
life? So last night, I was at a classmate's house working on a group project we have due tomorrow. I live in an apartment in the town where our university is located, and my classmate lives at his parents' house, which is in the foothills just outside of town. In order to get to
Wait, this is a commercial. Over there, we can skip it.
Hello, I'm Lucy. My life has been divided between two houses, but I never thought I would become an employee in one of them. And this fact makes me feel constantly exhausted. My parents have been divorced for a long time. Me and my older sister stayed with my mom based on the court's decision. But my dad was also allowed to spend a lot of time with both of us. That's why we used to spend like half of our weekends and holidays at my dad's place. I love both of my parents equally, but honestly speaking, my dad's temper is pretty terrible. Sometimes we'd have days where he would just yell and punish me and my sister whenever we did the littlest thing wrong. I'll give you a vivid example. Once we were spending Halloween with my dad. We had been working on making our costumes for an entire day and had gotten really hungry. There was almost nothing in the fridge, and my sister Annie decided she wanted to order a pizza. She asked Dad if that was okay, but he said no for no actual reason. He suggested that we cook something on our own, but we didn't want to, and we were really in the mood for pizza, especially since it was a holiday. Dad went crazy. He yelled at us, locked us in our room with no actual dinner, and of course with no trick-or-treating. So we stayed hungry and totally upset until the next day. Since then, neither I nor Annie were big fans of Halloween any longer. It was not always that bad, but since Annie is 5 years older than me, she would be punished more often. At some point, when she got big enough, she said that she wanted to live with my mom permanently and no longer visit our dad. But I couldn't do the same, and I probably didn't want to. Days at Dad's house started to be even less fun without Annie. I mean, I had some friends from the neighboring houses there, but I wasn't supposed to play with them all day long because Dad would say he wanted to spend time with me. But we'd usually end up watching sports on TV while he was trying to teach me about different teams and coaches and players and stuff.
That's boring.
I can't say that I was totally unhappy because I still had my dad next to me in my life. Then my dad married Julia. She was not bad, actually, but we barely interacted with each other because she was pretty busy with all of her trips to the beauty salon, yoga classes, and Zumba dancing. A few months later, my dad called me into the room and said that my stepmom was pregnant and that I was going to have a little brother or sister. That was great news for me because I always wanted to have a younger sibling. I was really excited about that and even promised that I'd take care of the baby when he or she was born. What made me speak up? I still have no idea. Now, with a new wife and a baby on the way, Dad was working all day long, even while I was visiting him. That's when Julia would start to watch me while he was at work. Her pregnancy made her really big, so I had to help her with cooking, dishwashing, house cleaning, and other stuff. At first, I thought it was really hard for her to do all the housework, but then I realized she was just using me so that she could chat with her friends or read some parenting magazines in her room while I was slaving away downstairs. I tried to complain to my dad about the situation, but he was totally on Julia's side. He'd even taken away my phone so that nothing would disturb me from being her assistant. Things didn't change much when my little brother was born, except that now, in addition from cooking, cleaning, shopping, and bringing groceries up the stairs for my stepmom, I also had to babysit my baby brother while she was resting. I literally felt deprived and had zero fun that summer. The final straw came when my dad took me out to eat and invited me to come live
Wait,
with
let's
him
pause
and
this
Julie.
for a minute. That's like so crazy and weird. Like, if I were her, I would be like, I would set up probably a camera or get some proof, and then I wouldn't be able to see that person anymore, because like obviously he's like the worst dad ever.
Yep, permanently. You know, I can't say that I was surprised, because a couple of times I remember Julia telling him that she couldn't live without my help when I'd go back home. And now, if I lived with them, Dad wouldn't have to pay my mom any child support, and he would get free labor. I was confused and promised to think over his suggestion. I just couldn't refuse him right there, face to face, because he'd probably get mad at me, and I didn't want to piss him off. Besides, I got into really deep thought about my little brother, and I was afraid that my dad's bad temper would ruin our times together. So, you know, having to think about all these things was tearing me apart inside. When I went to visit my dad and his family again, they were sort of expecting me, or rather, my decision. It was going to take all my will to man up and say that I was going to stay with my mom, and I knew that my dad would be upset. I would love to think that he was sorry that I wouldn't live with him because he'd miss my presence, but I couldn't shake the thought that he was thinking about the missed opportunity to have free slave labor, and this really hurt my feelings. Also, my sister had told me to be brave and to speak up. What was the worst thing that would happen if I did, I thought. That's why I told Dad that I didn't want to spend my time there as just a worker, but I wanted to have fun with him because I missed him, and this was true. Dad said nothing, and I spent my time there pretty much the same way as I did before, except for one thing. He had started to sort of pay me for my efforts. It was like a couple of bucks for ironing clothes, $5 for cleaning the house, and 5 more if I managed to cook something extra. It was odd, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I wish I could say that my story has a happy ending, but it doesn't. At least things didn't get worse. It's been 3 months already of me playing that waiting game. I still continue to visit my dad, and he still keeps giving me money instead of parental love and affection. But as my sister told me recently, at least I have the ability to earn some money. And Dad has gotten a little calmer and no longer yells at me. You know, I really did get the best of both families. I have my mom and my dad in my life. But I don't know how to make my dad treat me like a daughter and not like an employee. If you have any thoughts about this, share them in the comments and give this video a like.
Okay, that was an interesting video, but that reminds me of like back when people were like racist and all that stuff. Oops, no, nobody can see that. I'm gonna have to blur that out. Don't mind who that is. That's nobody. So don't even get any thoughts. But yeah, bye.